Hey everybody, Caroline here. I thought I'd just take a quick moment to share with you a message that came through when I drew a couple of cards earlier this afternoon. And I found the message helpful, and I thought it may also be really helpful for you guys. What I was doing, and I just, in between clients, wanted to draw a card to just get some greater perspective on actually what's going on in the world and this uncertainty and craziness that seems to be sort of evolving. And for me, I don't know about you, but for me it can be really helpful to just be able to step out of that whirlpool of craziness for a little while and really get an idea of what the bigger picture is to some of these world events that are going on at the moment. So anyway, I thought I'd just share with you what came through, and I hope it's helpful on some level to you all. The first card that I drew, well, actually I went to draw one card and these both flew out. So first card that flew out was this one here, which is the Queen of Forces, and this is one of my favourite cards actually. I love this card. It's just a good symbol of symbolises a lot of balance to me, of the light and dark aspects, masculine, feminine, emotion. It also serenity and strength, and that really I don't know, yeah, courage and inner strength, that sort of thing. And also a strong representation of nature in that card as well. Anyway, the second card that came out was this one here. And it was the Seven of Keys, the Ascent. So as you can see, this gentleman's definitely had a bit of a hard yakka climbing up that mountain. But he's made it to the top, and he's there viewing a whole new perspective, or a new surroundings, a new landscape, which is probably very, very applicable at this time, actually. So anyway, the message that came through was that this is really a time about finding our balance on an individual level and a global scale. It's a recalibration of not only ourselves and what we value and find important, but it's also about a recalibration and recovery time for our planet and the environment, and the ebbs and flows in life and all that goes with that. So it's so important that we start recognizing the pivotal role of both our light and our shadow aspects. We need to look to honor our emotions and tap into our abilities to find peace and serenity amongst the turbulence of what is our current reality. This time is also an opportunity to create a strong foundation for a new way of living, by taking the time and space to reevaluate our own personal desires, beliefs and values, away from the machine that is our normal everyday reality. So this virus has created a space for us, and it's up to us to use this space wisely. There's a potentiality of a whole new way of existence out there, just waiting to be acknowledged and welcomed should we choose to. To ascend to this new level is going to require a great deal of commitment and ability for us to view things from a much broader perspective. This perspective will be stifled should we allow fear to close us off. However, if we choose to remain open, heart-centered, and use the inevitable fear that pops up as a catalyst of reevaluation and recalibration, it is then we will discover that peace, mastery and security can indeed exist in uncertain times and amongst any form of chaos. So overall, the key message that I had coming through here was it's time to reflect and take time to really create a life and world that we want to live in. There will be times that we feel off center or overcome by what's going on, and that's totally natural. It's at those points that we sort of hit a crossroad, and we can choose one direction or other, and we can choose to either remain in fear, or we can choose to try and disrupt those thoughts and feelings. Now, when I talk about disruption, that doesn't mean that we should be ignoring our fear. Rather, we should be acknowledging our fear and recognizing that it is actually a self-protection mechanism. But we also need to transition ourselves out of that space for our long-term well-being. And the catalyst for that transition will be different for all of us. For some of us, it might be as simple as asking ourselves a question. It may be something like, what am I choosing to believe in at this time? Or it may be that we sit down and identify the things that within our sphere of influence and the things that we can start taking action towards, so that we don't feel totally powerless and lost in amongst the unusual times that are happening at the moment. Or for others, it may just simply be stepping out of nature and stepping out of the chaos, or taking a bath, or taking some time to read, or listening to uplifting music. There's so many things that we can use to shift our state, and that's the really important message I want to get through here. Is please don't get caught up in the fear, and acknowledge it and respect that emotion and allow that emotion to exist, but also look to move on from it. And the one last thing I'll say is please choose wisely the news sources you access and how often a day you engage them. Our mental and emotional well-being does impact our physical well-being and our immunity. So we need to make sure we nourish ourselves not only with nutritious food, but and good self-care practices, but we also need to nourish our mind and what we allow to enter our mind. So I hope this message finds you all well, and I hope that it's given you just something to think about a little bit, or some things to try and implement to move you out of this craziness that's going on at the moment. I thank you all for listening. If you'd like to hear a little bit more about my thoughts, then please consider subscribing to my channel. Or I do also spend quite a bit of time on Instagram, so you can follow me there at caroline.oxford, where I just share some more thoughts and insights and just uplifting messages to help us navigate life in these unusual times with a little bit more grace and ease. All right, well, wishing you all the best. Take care, and until next time, ciao.